Hello and a very warm welcome to Datuk Iskandar Ismail from the Malaysian Competition Commission. Datuk, it's such a pleasure to host you at our podcast, and thank you very much for making the time to join us this morning. I know it's late afternoon for you, and it's already been a long day, but it's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you with us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you to you too for having me. It's an honor, to appear before you today. Yes.
Well, wonderful. Before we talk about competition law, which of course we will do, I'm always curious about the people behind competition laws. So, if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself,
Yeah.
how did you come to competition enforcement? You are the chief executive officer of the Malaysia Competition Commission. So what has been the journey? What brought you to competition?
Yeah. It was quite a long journey before I joined MyCC, or Malaysia Competition Commission. I joined MyCC in 2013. When I joined MyCC, I was given the post of Director of Investigation and Enforcement Division. Before that, I was working with the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, prosecuting genocides, for Rwandan genocide cases for 8 years, from 2005 to 2013. Yeah, because I joined MyCC in February 2013. So, it was opener for me. When I joined international organization, is not the same environment as I was before. I joined before I was a prosecuting officer at the Central Bank of Malaysia, or Bank Negara Malaysia. I prosecuted financial crime cases. Yeah, in financial crime cases. Then I jumped into genocide cases. Then in 2013, I jumped into competition law cases. So three different areas, yeah, of laws, from financial crime to genocide and war crimes, and then to competition law cases. So but I'm grateful for the opportunity given by MyCC. Yeah, you see, I never aim to join MyCC before. You see, MyCC was created in 2011. Yeah, April 2011. Um, in 2001, yeah, when I did my masters in US, yeah, I took antitrust law subject, yeah, in US. So because of out of curiosity, I took that subject. Yeah, because of the Microsoft cases and others. So and then that time, people were talking nonstop about antitrust issues in US. So I was there. I was in Washington D.C. So I just took the class. Thank God I passed the the course. Yeah, and then after 10 years, 10 to 12 years, suddenly, Malaysia, my country came up with established the Malaysia Competition Commission. So in 2012, early 2012. I read an article. They interviewed our late chairman, and then one of the things she said is that we are still looking for the right people to work for us.
Mm.
So and then I just wrote a letter to her, from Tanzania, where I was based. Yeah. Um, so I just wrote a letter to her. She's an old school. Yeah. So she loved to receive letters and whatnot. So I just wrote to her. I said, okay, I'm the right people. I am the right people that you're looking for. Yeah, because I took antitrust law, and then I did prosecution, I did investigation and whatnot. So you can call me up, to meet you at any time. So 2 weeks after she received my letter, she called me up. She said, I want to see you. She told me. So I flew. I flew to Malaysia
Wow.
from Tanzania. I arrived, let's say today. The next day I met her just for 15 minutes, and then we talked about 15 minutes, and then she said, okay. And then she told me, okay, when the job advertisement is up, I want you to apply for it. But you have to go through the interview process as usual. So I said, okay. Then Alhamdulillah, I managed to get the post. So I started in February, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd February 2013. I was the director of, I became the director of investigation and enforcement. After 5 years, I was promoted to become the CEO of CEO of Malaysia Competition Commission. So that is the journey, my journey.
Well, it's a really wonderful story. And I think it's a story of study, of course, but it's a story also of synchronicity. I think the Malaysia just happened to adopt a competition law at the right time, but really it's a story of initiative. And I think I like people to find out that, initiative really helps. And I think this is a wonderful story of study and synchronicity and initiative. So thank you so much for sharing that. And actually we have some overlap in our story, but that's for another day. I will tell you someday how I came to competition law as well.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, but let's move on then to talk about competition law in Malaysia. Your 2010 is, I'm sure it seems like a long time ago and you've achieved quite a bit, but it's not a very long time ago. It's still a newish law. What was, in your view, the motivation for Malaysia to adopt a competition law? Was it something that it felt it had to do because of international developments or some sort of international pressure or recommendation, or was it more of an internal process of thinking about markets?
It's a combination of factors. One of the factors is the international development. We were the 120th country to adopt competition law in this world. Yeah. I think I believe at that point of time our government feels that we are lacking few elements in maintaining a robust economy for Malaysia. So they first took a look at the Unfair Trade Act. But when they did the further research, they found out that it's not somehow sufficient, to address certain issues in the market. So then they look at competition law, and then they found out that competition law has more grabs, has wider positive effect on the market. So they begin to further their interest into it, and then in 2010. We managed to, in June 2010, we got the law passed, and then it was gazetted in June 2010, and then MyCC was established on 1st April 2011, and then the law was enforced on 1st January 2012. Yeah, that's how it came about. Yeah.
I was taking a look at the act a few days ago in preparation for our conversation, and
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of similarities with the EU model. I mean, the language of object and effect, also the block exemption, the sort of pro-competitive factors, the possibility of individual exemptions. So, how influential was the EU competition regime in designing the Malaysian competition regime? Or were you also, I mean, by you, I mean, was Malaysia also looking at other models at that time?
Yes, we look at several models. One of them is EU, and then we look at UK models, including Singapore and then few other countries. But it's funny, you see, we are one of the Commonwealth countries. Usually, Commonwealth countries will, prefer English precedents. Yeah. So usually we will refer to English cases, Indian cases, and whatnot. Yeah. But somehow, when we went further into the research, we found out that there are many characteristics of EU competition law that suit us, our economy. Yeah, maybe because some of the countries there, like Poland, for instance, it has more or less this, the size of their economy is more or less the same with Malaysia. Yeah. So and then at that point of time, UK was still part of EU, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we found out again. Yeah. Okay. Because UK laws has similar some characteristic of EU law, and EU law has some characteristic of UK law, and then we took the decision. Okay, we'll take some of the characteristic of EU law, English law, English competition law, and then a bit of Singaporean, and then we lumped it together and became our Competition Act. Yeah. So that's why in many of our decisions, if you notice, if you look into our website, we always refer to many EU cases. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow it suits the to the condition of our market, on how it's being run and whatnot. We have similarities, but we also refer to English, Singaporean, Australian cases and other cases. Yeah. But the beauty of competition law, if I may share with you, is that the principle everywhere in all the countries, the principles are the same. Yeah, it's different with criminal law, international criminal law, because you want to apply the what do you call that, when it comes to kidnapping or murder, UK has different types of law to address it, and then different level in certain European countries. So criminal law, everyone has different type of criminal law, but for competition law, the principle are the same. It's just how we adopt it to the market. That's the decision of that country. So
Yes,
that's why
absolutely.
it's easy.
I did see the Competition Appellate Tribunal in the Act as well. So I think that's very much the UK sort of cat as well. I think that there was that similarity. But also, I think the process that Malaysia seems to have followed is also mirrored in many countries around the world. That there's a view to foreign international models, but there's also a view to what is most suitable for their economy, and especially as you mentioned, the size of the economy seems to have been an
Yeah.
important factor. So tell us, I mean, I have seen the act, but for the benefit of our audience, tell us a little bit more about the practices that the law prohibits. Um, especially if you think there's something quite distinctive about the Malaysian Act that you would like to highlight. I mean, how is it different from the international models? If there's something that you can say about that, please.
You see, our motto always been promoting competition, protecting you. So if you look into the preamble of our act, is to protect the competition process in order to safeguard the interest of the consumer, thereby contributing to the development of the economy. Yeah. It's not the same principle being adopted by the US. They are more consumer orientated. Yeah. But for us, it's about the market. It's about the economy. Yeah. Um, so how we enforce the law, there's usually people say, when we learn competition law, there are three pillars of competition laws and policies. The first one, the prohibition of anti-competitive agreement. The second one is prohibition of abuse of dominant position. The third one is merger regime, merger control. For Malaysia, for now, we only have the two pillars first. The first one, the prohibition of cartels. The second one is the prohibition of unilateral conduct. Yeah. So for the third one, the merger regime is in the pipeline. We have plans to introduce that merger control regime in the near future. So that's how we design the competition law in Malaysia. But with these two pillars, he kept us busy for many years already, for 15 years already. Yeah, it's not easy. You know, although the standard of proof is balance of probabilities. Yeah, for cartels, for us, it's not a criminal offense. Yeah, unlike Japan or US and other certain countries. Yeah, but for us, it's still an infringement, considered an infringement. So, but you know, uh, investigating cartel, cases, abusive dominant players, very interesting. It needs a lot of analysis, and then and one thing that you need to believe in is in the numbers. Yeah. Usually, lawyers, they hate numbers. So, I'm a lawyer, yeah, by profession. But somehow, I love numbers, yeah. So that's why I think it's much easier for me to, accept, this area of law. Yeah. It's very interesting. Numbers do not lie. Yeah.
True. And
Yeah.
does that also mean that you have a lot of um, economists on your teams as well as lawyers, or what kind of team have you built around yourself at MyCC?
Yeah. Okay. It's not easy for us. I think other countries are also, having these challenges. It's not easy to find lawyers, yeah, who prefers to practice in competition law, and then it's not that easy also to find economists who practice in microeconomics area, yeah, or industrial organization. Yeah. So, but we managed to find some of them. There are about almost 50% of our workforce comprises of lawyers and economists. The
Okay.
rest, yes, there are accountants, forensic, a digital forensic expert, and others. Yeah. It's a mixture, but the majority are still the lawyers and economists. Almost 50% of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. We'll come back a little bit later to possibilities of training and how people can be groomed, if that's a word, to be competition
Yeah.
lawyers or competition experts in Malaysia. But if you can also tell us a little bit about the Malaysian competition enforcement model, because
Mm.
when I was looking at the act, it seems to me that the commission has investigatory and adjudicatory powers. Appeals
No.
lie to the Competition Appellate Tribunal. But tell us a little bit more about that. Is that the final appeal? Is there recourse to the courts? I mean, where do the courts come in?
Okay, we are a quasi-judicial body. Yeah. So it means that we investigate, we decide, we punish. Yeah. So there will be an infringement decision if there is an infringement, yeah, issued by us, by MyCC. And then it can be appealed at the level of Competition Appeal Tribunal. The Competition Appeal Tribunal, or we call CAT, yeah, is a separate body altogether. It's an independent body headed by a high court judge, yeah, being assigned or seconded to become the president of the Competition Appeal Tribunal. There are other members of the tribunal, yeah, there are, I think, around 15 of them. So comprises of economists, former judges, and others. But it is headed by a judge, high court judge. Yeah. So when we issue an infringement decision, yeah, the infringing parties, can file an appeal, yeah, at the competition appeal tribunal level. If let's say they lose their case at that level, they can still go for judicial review. Yeah, judicial review against the decision of the tribunal.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if they are not, they're still not satisfied, they can go further up to Court of Appeal, and then eventually the last level is the federal court. Yeah, so they have opportunities, yeah, to prove their innocence. in relation to our decisions. Yeah, so there are opportunities. So I think it's a fair system. Yeah, but the main topic will be our decision. Yeah, because we are the one who investigated them. Yeah, yes. If you look at our statistics, I think we have issued about 16 to 17 infringement decision across the years. Yeah, I think we lost about 1 or 2 cases eventually. Yeah, but it's still good, you know. To I mean, the achievement is still okay. For a commission, that is built from the ground up. I was involved since 2013. When I first came to MyCC, I had four investigators under me.
Oh my goodness.
And they have no clue. I tell you, they have no clue about competition law. Yeah. So I think one of the reason they took me in because I learned antitrust law during my masters, and then I was doing prosecution work and at the same time investigation works while I was with the Rwandan tribunal. Yeah. So we started from scratch. Yeah. So we built the team from a small team. Now we have around 130 of us. When I joined, there was about 20 plus only officers. Yeah. When they started, they have about 10 to 15 officers only, including the CEO. Yeah. So now we have 130. Yeah. So we are trying. The numbers is still not enough. I wish that we have around 200 of us, so that we can take care. Do the prioritization more efficiently. Because there are a lot of cartels out there, not just in Malaysia but outside. Just imagine, look at Japan. They introduced their antitrust law since the end of the World War II, but they still have to grapple with all these cartels. Yeah, up until today. Yeah, so more so with a country who just introduced competition law 15 years ago. Yeah, so we have to prioritize.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so but our focus now is in going after cartels. Yeah.
Are there any interesting cartels that you've gone after? Anything that there must be so many, but if there's something that really sort of um,
Yeah,
remains
yeah,
in
yeah.
your mind?
There are some funny ones. For instance, one of the okay, yeah. Before the introduction of, I just want to share with you, yeah.
Sure.
Before the introduction of competition law in Malaysia, the associations, yeah, they
Yes.
love to go to the media, and then all the committees members headed by the president, they will make an announcement. They say, oh, we want to be fair to the consumer and the market. We would like to state categorically that, oh, we would increase our prices by 50 cents. We think 50 cents is fair enough for everybody. Everybody can make money. It's a win-win situation. They love to do that, you know. And when we were established, they were still doing it.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but after a lot of advocacy program, and then we started to investigate some of them, then the announcement started to fade away, to disappear. Yeah, we notice now, but there are still 1 or 2 that are still doing it, and then they claim ignorance as usual. Yeah, but ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Of course.
Yeah. So we investigated some of them. One of the highlights of the earlier cases is the ice manufacturers. Yeah, Malaysia is a humid country.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. In Malaysia, it's about the sun or the rain or both. Yeah. Ice is very important to us. Yeah, I don't know about other countries, but I'm sure there are many countries that consider ice as an essential item in the food category. Yeah. So we love iced tea. We need our fresh fishes. By using the ice and whatnot. So there were about 24 of them, ice manufacturers in the main areas of Malaysia. We call it Selangor, the state of Selangor, Federal Territory, in Kuala Lumpur and also in Putrajaya. So they all made an announcement through an advertisement in the newspaper. They publish it and then they say, okay, we're going to raise the ice tube prices per pack by 50 cents and then the block ice by 2 ringgit per block. So we investigated them and then they was really, really surprised. They said, hey, we've been doing this all this while and nobody said it's wrong. And then some of them even scolded me personally, So I said, no, this is the latest law. And then what we have done, it causes a domino effect on the prices of certain food items, such as fish and also the beverages. So we were quite in the sense that lenient in penalizing them. We can penalize an enterprise up to 10% of their worldwide turnover.
Okay.
So, but we didn't go to up 10%. I think less than 5%. I think, yeah, more or less. So we penalized them, all 24 of them. No, except one. The rest, the 23 of them were penalized for the total amount of 250,000 ringgit Malaysia. If you divide by 4, is about 80 to 90,000. No, 60. Yeah, 60 to 70,000. Yeah, because $1 is equivalent to 4 ringgit Malaysia. So it's about 60 to 70,000. So all of them paid.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the latest case was our chicken feed cartel.
Ah,
That was the biggest case for us, and in fact, it's still now the biggest cartel case.
wow.
We penalized 5 of them, the chicken feed producers, at the total amount of 415 million ringgit. So if you divide by 4, it's about 105 million US dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. So they filed an appeal against the decision. Yeah. At the Competition Appeal Tribunal level, and they lost the case, and now they have filed judicial review against the decision of the tribunal. So we are waiting for the hearing. So we will see. I will share with
Yeah,
you.
that sounds like
The
an exciting case to watch for because it's also in the food value chain.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it makes me realize how small chicken feed sounds, but how important it is.
Oh, it's very important. Chicken is a very important, food for Malaysian because it's one of the cheapest, yeah,
Ah,
food item in Malaysia. Um, so, chicken feet somehow represent 70% of the total cost to rear a chicken. So
oh,
it means that every 1 ringgit or every $1 you spend for to rear a chicken, 70 cents is spent on the chicken feed.
very interesting.
Yeah. So if they, these 5 companies, what they did is that they raised the price of chicken feed at the same quantum. But the interesting part is that their retail prices are not the same at the same level. But when they raise their prices, it's at the same quantum. Means that let's say the company A, their prices per bag, per 50 kilo bags is about $100. Okay, the second one is 105, the third one 110, the fourth one 115, the fifth one, the last one is 120. But when they raise the price at the same level, $1, $1 per month, and then the next month they will raise at $2 simultaneously. Yeah.
Sounds
So
like collusion. Sounds like some collusion.
so
Yeah.
they said, oh, they blame the increasing price of corns and maize,
Ah,
the two main ingredient for chicken feed. Yeah, of course. We our investigation showed, yes, the price of corn and soybean, sorry, maize and soybean have increased all around the world. But there were times that the price of corn and soybean went down, but they still raised prices together at the same level. Yeah. So
a lot of econometric analysis also going on here, I
Oh
think.
yes, you should go into our website and look. We did a graph, on the quantum of increase, and you find a very nice graph.
Mm.
Yeah, and everything at the same level. When they increase, they increase at the same level, and it's so nice. It looks like being made up.
Mm.
But but actually, it was the truth. Yeah. So, and then we managed to trace calls, them talking to each other, WhatsApp messages, emails, and then notes of them during their association meeting. Yeah. It's not the association, you see. The association has more than 5 members, but only these 5 are, because they are still the main players in the chicken feed industry. So they control about 40% of the market.
I see.
Yeah, so when they dwell into this cartel, this somehow has effect on other manufacturers or producers.
Well, that's certainly a case to watch. I'm definitely interested in seeing. I have my prediction is you win in the court, but let's see. Let's see what happens. I have many questions coming to my mind. I'm not going to ask you all of them, but one main question is when you have been going after cartels and there were these established ways of doing business in Malaysia, especially
Mhm.
through trade associations or advertisements. Did you experience pushback, or did MyCC experience business community sort of pushing back on
Oh
the work that
yes,
you were
yes,
doing?
of course.
Can you tell us a little bit about the kind of pushback,
not
besides being
not
shouted at? Then you said you.
not all can accept changes. It's the trait of human beings and of any human beings. Yeah, especially the industry players. Yeah, when we introduced this law, the association of the small medium small and medium enterprises applied to us, uh, you know, so in a way that they are telling us, can we be exempted from the application of this law?
Mm.
Do you know the percentage of small and medium enterprises in Malaysia is 98% of the businesses in Malaysia. In fact, all over the world, yeah, it's about 90 to 98% micro, small, and medium enterprises that actually, fuel the economy. You see, this when we did the study about this micro, small, and medium enterprises, they contributed to 40% of our GDP. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 2% is quite high. Um, yeah, of course, there are dominant players, government-linked companies, yeah, state-owned enterprises, and the public-listed company. All these multinational companies, yes, there are about 2% of them, but they contributed to around 60% of our GDP. That is normal, I think. Yeah, I believe it's normal all around the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always going to be big players who want to contribute a lot to the economy. Yeah, but they came out with this application. They say, oh, we want to be exempted because your job, for them, our job is to go after the big companies. Yeah. So, but of course, we refused. Yeah, we rejected their application. So then along the way, when we started to investigate, okay, our style is that no matter how big you are, no matter how small you are, if your conduct of your or your behavior impact significantly, yeah, the market, we will go after you.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you look at our records, we go after dominant players. We went after dominant players. Yeah, we went after government-linked companies. Yeah, we went after concessionaires. Companies who got the concession from the government. Yeah, so we went against big companies, but also small and medium companies also at the same time. So it was somehow, what we did, slowly they understood us. Yeah. Because we don't, really, what do you call that? We were quite fair in enforcing our law. Yeah, not just small companies, but we also went after big companies. So from there, they saw the benefits of us enforcing the law. Then now, many of them somehow, give support to us. And many of them are now, the majority of our complainants, yeah, comes from small and medium enterprises. Yeah, because, yeah. So, but of course, our advocacy program plays, a bigger role, in the sense that, we went out there, and then we go around Malaysia and explain to everybody that what we are doing is for their own good. Yeah. So because the thing is, one of our cases that they were quite surprised, the public were quite surprised when we went against the childcare centers. Yeah,
Tell us.
childcare.
Yeah.
Yeah, childcare fees are very high, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to pay. It's your children that you are sending, to some strangers to take, for them to take care of your children. So you have to pay a bit, yeah. So that the safety and security of your children are being taken care of. So we found out that there are quite a few cartels in this industry. Yeah, we took action against one small childcare center in one city, and then recently we found there are two cartels amongst them in two states. So we took action against them. Yeah, so it's very important. People ask us, why you are taking action against all these small players? But mind you, see, because we are talking about cost of living issues. Yeah. Parents are both working. They have no choice but to send their kids to, their babies to childcare center. And then one child can cost them around 500 ringgit to 800 ringgit per month. And what if they have 3 children? What if they have 4 children? Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of money to be spent on this. So, it somehow affects the cost of living.
So a question that arises from this, and I think it's a question in the minds of a lot of competition agencies at this point, is how do you prioritize what case to go after? And I can see a pattern, or I can hear a pattern here, because you're interested in picking up cases that are most relevant to the individual, at the sort of consumer level individual, that will improve their quality of life, or their ability to eat, for instance, or their ability to work. But I'd like to hear it in your words. I mean, how do you decide what cases to go after?
Okay, our prioritization is on cartels. Okay, first, cartels in bid rigging, in government tenders. Yeah, or even if we find some cartels in private tenders, yes, we go after them. So bid rigging, cartels, it affects the the delivery of the public service by the government. It's very important. Yeah, that's one perspective. The other perspective is that to reduce the leakages of government spending. Yeah, because if there are leakages, and then we can help the government to save some money, and then they can build another school in another state. Yeah, with that money. Yeah, that is our priority number one. In fact, our investigation now focuses on this type of cartel. There are around 13 cases investigation on, I think, more than 500 companies now on bid rigging cartels. The second one is cartel again. Yeah, cartel in the food and agricultural sector. You must remember, yeah, doctor, a hungry man is an angry man.
Very well said.
Yeah. So whatever it is, yeah, you know, if you are very hungry and then the price of goods, of food and beverages are very high, and then people can be easily, somehow, cause an uproar, or chaos in the market. So we take this type of cartel seriously. Yeah, that's why we went all out against this chicken feed cartel. The government had to subsidize the price of chicken in Malaysia for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Because suddenly the price of chicken went up 3 to 4 years ago. And then they couldn't find the cost at first. So, and then in the end, they directed us to investigate. So when we investigated, we dropped all of other investigation, and we focus on this chicken feed only. Thank God we did a market review on chicken broiler market in 2014.
Oh.
So we know the supply chain. Yeah, we understand how they work. Yeah. So from there we managed to target our investigation. Yeah. So when we study the matter, okay, how much is the cost to rear a chicken? What is the majority? What is the most expensive area that you have to spend in the chicken industry? So from there we managed to focus the investigation, and then eventually we found the cartel, the culprit. Yeah, it was the chicken feed manufacturer. Yeah. So the third one is cartels in relation to essential item or services, such as childcare. Yeah. The example that I gave you before. Yeah. So services. The services that you can't avoid, that you have to pay in your daily life. Yeah. Transportation costs. Yeah. Education costs, yeah, and others. So these are all linked to cost of living issues. Yeah.
I can see
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, if we need the fundamentals, I think it'll be somehow it will help a lot the government in controlling certain issues in the market. Yeah. So then only we will focus on dominant players. You see, although investigating dominant, abusive dominant players are quite challenging. Yeah, it needs a lot of analysis. It needs a lot of research and whatnot. But we are talking about one or two companies that you can easily identify. They are so big, they can't be, they can't hide themselves. Yeah. So we adopt this soft enforcement approach. Yeah. So what we do is that usually, these big companies, they don't like to be investigated. They don't like to be queried by regulators and enforcement bodies. So many of them, in fact, from my experience, shows that they want to abide the law. Yeah, they want to follow the rules. But it just so happened that, maybe some of them, in that their organization, did this rash decision or whatsoever. So, and then somehow took the wrong path, and then somehow they ended up, having this trouble. So but we did investigated few monopolies. Yeah, and then so far we have investigated, I think, around 5 to 6 um, dominant players, including monopolies. The most notable case is against the MyEG case. MyEG is a company who has the monopoly to give services on the renewal of foreign workers visa.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to renew your foreign workers, okay, you have to buy certain types of insurance in Malaysia. So that's where the abuse, took place. Last time, when employers want to renew the visas of their foreign workers, they can buy any type insurance from any companies available in Malaysia. There were about 20 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But since they took over these services, now these services was provided by the government, but the government, of course, they privatize it so that it will be more efficient. So when they took over the renewal process, they made it mandatory to buy from one company only. The agent of that one company is them.
Okay. That's a very,
They are 100% subsidiary.
yeah.
So if you don't buy from this company, from this insurance, your application will not be accepted. And then it caused an uproar. So they say, okay, don't worry. Okay, you can buy from other insurers. But when you buy the insurance from other company, not from ours, okay, we have to double check everything. We have to check the policy, whether it's it's a fraud, or whether it's valid or not, whatever it is. So it somehow lengthen the process. But for them, if you buy from them, you just have to tick, and then it will be processed immediately. And so then at that point of time, we investigated them, and then we found out that it was their subsidiary, 100% subsidiary, that became the agent of that insurance. So they try to make money as much as possible at that point of time. So we penalized them at around 10.3 million ringgit.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And they paid the penalty. They appeal against until the level of Court of Appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost. They lost at the level of Competition Appeal Tribunal. They lost at the High Court level, and they lost at Court of Appeal, and then they stopped.
But has there been some structural changes as well besides the penalty to make sure that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
After that, they open up their system to invite other companies, other insurance, to become their panels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they open up the market. So everybody was happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, these are all I'm really enjoying every single case that you're talking about. And I think that they're so meaningful. I mean, I, for instance, didn't realize that Malaysia had so many foreign workers that it would need a proper regime. But where do a lot of the foreign workers come from? Where's your bulk of them?
Indonesia,
I see.
Myanmar, mainly from ASEAN region.
ASEAN. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are some from India, particularly in food and beverages
I see.
industry. Yeah, but there are a lot from Indonesia, from Myanmar, from Nepal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For certain industries, not all,
Not all.
everything.
Not all.
Yeah.
Well, this has been absolutely wonderful. But now I think it's a moment to also pause and celebrate your 15-year anniversary, which you celebrated earlier this year. And
Yes.
I mean, you've shared some really interesting stories, and I can see it's been uh, intense, but as somebody, I'm quoting somebody, they said it's been intense, but it's been intensely fun. I think it sounds like. But if you were to share something that you're really proud of in your sort of as you cross this milestone, what would that be?
Uh, okay, there are a lot of things to celebrate actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because from a small size, an organization, somehow we increase tenfold. Yeah, and then we started to somehow we started to notice that our cases have great impacts on our economy, and then the government started to take notice. And then
Mhm.
for the past 3 years, yeah, in the budget announced by the government, we were mentioned, categorically in contributing to the government
Amazing.
coffers by eliminating cartels. Yeah,
Excellent.
because I haven't gone into the stories, the cases where we somehow punish these big rigging cartels, members. Yeah, we somehow we managed to unravel this big rigging cartel in government procurement, whereby before this nobody couldn't do anything to them. Yeah, so because of this and the other cartel cases, the government gave us extra funds.
I see.
Yeah, for the past 3 years, for the budget of 2024, 2025, and 2026. They mentioned categorically the Malaysia Competition Commission, the Malaysia Competition Commission. Before this we were never mentioned at all. So they started to notice us, yeah, and we were somehow, I'm personally, I was somehow relieved. You know, we thought nobody knows about us. Yeah, and then in fact, right now, to tell you the truth, yeah, doctor, um, if I go to the members of the public, yeah, if I ask them, do you know about MyCC? I can guarantee you, I can find at least 3 or 4 people, they don't know about MyCC. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But somehow, because the businesses, the academicians, the students, and then the government, yeah, they somehow took notice of us. You see, from there, somehow our roles have been elevated. Yeah, um, I think our hard work for the past 15 years has been bearing fruit. For the past 2 3 years. Yeah, it's a lot of work actually. Yeah, you have to issue infringement decision. You have to carry out advocacy programs, and then you have to publish market review. You have to issue policy advice to the government. You have to create your networks. You have to go to the associations and explain to them over and over again. Yeah, because association, they always change their committees every
Yeah.
now and then. Yeah, and then we engage a lot with big companies, government link entities, including pension fund and whatnot. So basically, they're the one who contributed a lot, to the economy. So right now, our advocacy strategies is that we go to big companies, we go to big organization, and we do a targeted advocacy. It means that, let's say, one multinational company, and, they want to know more about, MyCC. Yeah, so we go to them. You see, before this, what we did is that, we did this, something like open day. So we invited all these members of the public, the government officers, and everyone will come. Then, but the thing is, the one that being sent to us are not the person in charge.
Yes. Yes.
You see? So when you told them something, you go through their ears and then go out, at the other side. So we realized that we should go to certain big companies who have influence in the market and big associations. Yeah. So I've been giving talks to the management of Toyota Malaysia, and then our National Investment Fund, company, Kazana National, and then we went all around the world, all around Malaysia, just to explain. And then somehow we managed to convince them that we are actually helping them. That's why we've been getting a lot of complaints nowadays.
I think that's a lot to be very proud of. And 15 years is not a long time. I said that right at the beginning. It's not a long time. But if you were to say there's one really big challenge that's bothered you in this time, what would that be? I know you've talked a lot about the various challenges you've overcome as well, but where do you think the biggest challenge continues to come from? I know there is one.
Okay, the biggest challenge is that, to explain to people, when we lose a case, it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
What is more important is that we carried out our duties. We try to rectify the issues in the market. At least we did try. Yeah, we didn't sit still. Yeah, so I don't know. People will tend to forget our many achievement. Yeah, when a bad news came about us. Yeah, it's usually like that. People easily they tend to forget easily. Yeah. I don't know how to explain, but somehow, of course, I'm a human being. I feel frustrated sometimes. We know that we did all what we can. All what we could. But it just so happened that certain quarters did not accept our decision or our ways on handling the matters. Yeah, it's just out of our control. Yeah. So I don't know, but when I went for these media interviews, the radios, the TV, televisions, and the podcasts and whatnot. They always focus on the cases that we lost. So sometimes I have to somehow bring them to certain achievement that we have accomplished, so that to make them realize that this is not about winning or losing.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it's about to correct the market behavior. Yeah.
And even a lost case has impact. It's not
Yes, yes.
lost. And I think because your introduction to competition was through US antitrust, it has a history of more than 100 years. It's gone through so many phases. It's been over-enforced, under-enforced, ignored, taken up. I think these are just the cycle of antitrust enforcement or competition enforcement, and the learning process is really, it happens over a long period of time. So of course, I still think that 15 years is no time at all, and it's very early, and you seem to have achieved quite a bit already. When you look into the next sort of, next 15 years of MyCC, what are your biggest priorities, or what is your vision really for MyCC or even for competition in Malaysia?
You see, I worked once for Central Bank of Malaysia or
Yes.
Bank Negara Malaysia.
Yeah.
Somehow is the official or unofficial economic advisor to the government.
Okay.
De facto. Yeah. You see? So we want to become at the same level as them. Yeah, in the next 15 years. Because I believe that, yeah, all this while, the missing jigsaw puzzle uh, of our economy is competition law and policies. You see, because through competition law and policies, you can balance the effect of industrial policy. Yeah, because this is all about industrial policy. This is about GDP, it's about labor market, it's about how many cars we produce in a year, how many people are spending monies and whatnot. But the competition aspect is being ignored. But somehow we managed to prove to the government competition aspect is very important. Nowadays we receive a lot of requests from certain bodies in the government. They said you have to get the opinion of MyCC if you want to introduce this scheme or this program and whatnot. You have to ensure that it won't distort the market. Now, recently about the issue on the medical inflation issue in Malaysia. So the government is trying very hard, which we want to help, to rectify things, to make things affordable for people in getting medical services. Yeah, so there are quite a few departments of the government came to us and sought our opinion on how to go about so that they if they introduce certain things, it won't distort the market at the same time. So we felt appreciated, in many ways. Before this they were like they just bulldoze it, many years ago. I'm talking about many years ago, yeah. And then during the first 5 years of MyCC, yeah. Some of them they just bulldoze, and then a complaint came to us, and then we went to that government department. They were saying, "Oh no, we didn't know about this," and then but it's being done already. So there's nothing we can do. But nowadays, many of them have come to us and sought our opinion because we have the power to give competition policy advice to the government. Yeah.
It's very important. So,
Yeah.
where does digital competition fit into this vision that you have for the next? I know one vision is to, of course, be a pillar of governance, economic governance in Malaysia. But tell us a little bit about how, what are you thinking about the digital economy? Of course, it's a hot topic in the Western world. I think with Europe
Yes.
and the UK both have acts to address the digital economy. I mean, where does Malaysia stand?
You see, it contributed a lot to our economy nowadays. Yeah, especially after it started during the COVID era, right?
Yeah.
Remember, people were stuck in their house, and then they had to use all these food delivery services through these apps,
Yeah.
and then somehow it strengthened the bond of the humans and our mobile phones, our smartphones.
Yes.
Yeah. So somehow it became strengthened through many apps that make our life more convenience. Yeah. So right nowadays, if you want to go somewhere for your holiday, it's all about it's just at your fingertips through your smartphones. Yeah. And then if you want to go buy certain things for your groceries, yeah, through your smartphones also.
Of course.
Yeah, everything is through digital economy, services and apps. So it's a significant concern for Malaysia. You see, because you see, while we are busy targeting all these cartels, investigating all these big rigging cartels, we never lost sight on this digital economy. Because Malaysia is somehow is a contributing country to all this digital economy industry. We are one of the biggest semiconductor producers in the world. We have opened up the market to data centers. We have many digital economy players in Malaysia, they started to take notice of how important Malaysia economy to their to their survival and whatnot. And then the government also has put up many programs so that digital economy industry can grow much faster in Malaysia. And of course, people are now at the level of they are thinking about AI. Yeah, but AI for me personally, you see, yes, in the Western countries it is somehow developed.
Yes.
Yeah, but in Asia it is still being developed. It's still developing at developing stage. Yeah, because you need a lot of funds, you need a lot of good players, to make things happen in the AI industry. So what we did is that for the past 2-3 years, we decided to go into digital economy industries such as online travel agencies, mobile operating system, e-commerce, digital advertising, data protection and privacy. Those are the 5 things that we believe that are the most important industries, in this digital economy sector for now. So that's why we decided to carry out market review on these 5 subsectors. So we started July 2024.
Okay.
And then we completed the market review in December 2025, and we launched it in February this year.
Okay.
So you see, the funny thing is that all these players in these 5 subsectors they had been naughty, in other countries, somehow they are doing the same thing in Malaysia.
Of course.
And then nobody is taking, action against them. So, because while we have our hands full with the cartels and also certain dominant players in Malaysia in other services or in other industries, so we took the self-enforcement approach. We want to open the eyes of the public and the government to what is happening actually in Malaysia and all around Malaysia in this digital economy sector. So we managed to open the Pandora's box, through our market review. So we reveal everything what is happening in Malaysia, and now some of them are coming to us. Some of these players that have been mentioned in our market review, they have been coming to us and trying to rectify things. I think it is very effective, in the sense that it's an achievement, you see, because all this while, we did some market reviews. Yes, we had some feedbacks, but there were not much action after that. But now it's not just we just have to carry out advocacy program, but they are coming to us, knocking our doors again. Although we asked for their feedback during the draft report and the final report, the draft final report, we asked for their, we carried out public consultation before we concluded the market review. We did ask from many of them their opinions, their input and whatnot, data, and we put everything. The good thing about market review is not judgmental in a way, but it's just putting how it is in this market, what is happening actually in the market. So we are letting the public and other organization make their own judgment. So from there, I think somehow if they concerned with these issues, these competition issues, I think they should, quote unquote, surrender themselves to us.
I like that. But do you feel that the Malaysian Competition Act, the way it is at the moment, is sufficient gives you sufficient powers to interact with these digital issues, or do you foresee a future amendment to the act, or is that too far? You're not thinking about that yet.
Oh yes. Of course, we have put up some recommendation. One of this main recommendation that we put up is that to have this a task force on digital economy sectors, because all these players are born outside Malaysia. Yeah. So now Europeans, they have DMA. Yeah, they have certain laws, they have certain expertise, experience, and tools and whatnot on how to control all these players. Although they are struggling, yeah, but it's part and parcel. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, you can't avoid it. Yeah. So anyhow, when we see that the laws in Malaysia are quite fragmented, in the sense that, okay, there's one regulators having limited powers on certain industry, which is part and parcel, let's say, of e-commerce. Yeah. You see, e-commerce transaction is not just about buying stuff through all this Amazon or Shopee or whatever it is, right? It's about the payment system. It's about the e-wallet. It's about the courier services and whatnot. So basically, in Malaysia, different regulators have different jurisdiction over e-commerce transaction.
I see.
Yeah. So that's why we suggested for the government to have a central task force on digital economy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a task force. It's not a proper organization. It's just that all these regulators come together in one room, and then if there's a complaint on the e-commerce transaction, if there's more than two issues, at least at the same time, two regulators can take action at the same time, rather than passing the buck to through emails or whatever it is, a channel that we have, and then passing the ball around, and then hoping that it will go away, So we think that this task force will solve a lot of issues in the digital economy sectors. Yeah.
That's nice.
So yeah.
So
So this
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, the other recommendation is that we did put up a bold recommendation whereby we said we are going to initiate investigation against online travel agencies for their behavior in the agreement with the hotels in relation to prosperity clause. Yeah. So somehow, from there we receive a lot of people wanting to
Yeah, no.
meet us again. Yeah. Yeah, because all these people, they have been investigated in other countries, and then somehow I don't know whether they realize or not. People are watching them. Yeah. And we also studied about them, and then we found that there is the existence of these prosperity clauses in their agreements with the hotels in Malaysia. Mm.
Well, you have your work cut out for you. It's not no rest for the weary, as they say. I think it seems like a very busy next decade of competition evolution, I think, in Malaysia. So before we come to a close, I think my last sort of question is really, we do get students from Malaysia, and they're interested in competition law. They enjoy competition law courses that we teach. I mean, what would you say to somebody who was an aspiring competition practitioner? I mean, whether on the regulatory side or whether in private practice, but I mean, especially the way you came to this was such an unusual journey. But now I think students have an opportunity to actually study the course and do it. But if you had a message for people who wanted to join competition law, what's that one great piece of advice you can give to someone?
I don't think so. I'm qualified to give them an advice. I can give them a tip.
Tips
Yeah.
are great. Tips are
Yeah.
wonderful.
Not an advice. Yeah. Um, you know, you see, I've been practicing, I've been doing works in financial crime prosecution. I prosecuted people who committed genocide.
Mm.
Yeah. And now I'm in the competition law enforcement
Yeah,
businesses.
yeah,
Yeah. I must tell you, I must be honest. The greatest satisfaction is right now.
really.
Yeah. Yes. Um, because when you somehow give a solution to an economy injustice, yeah, that is taking place, yeah, you somehow what do you call that? Um, I don't know. It just give us uh, the the long lasting effect on people's life. Yeah, it's not just about the numbers. It's just about how you see. You know, when you are having a family, you have kids. You have to pay for the education. You have to pay a lot of things. Yeah, and then somehow take for instance the prices of chicken. Yeah, we are talking about chicken here.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
when you solve an issue of price of, for instance, like price of chicken, you manage to reduce or ensure this stability of chicken prices. Millions of people will be affected, positively. It's not just one, but a lot of people at the same time. Whether they are rich or poor, they will be somehow be given the benefit yeah of our enforcement action. Yeah. So this is how I felt. That's why I'm staying put here for almost 13 years already. I think 13 years. Yeah, 13 years already. Yeah. February 2026 is my 13th year in MyCC. So I stayed put in Central Bank. I stayed around 7 years. In the Rwandan Genocide Tribunal, I stayed about 8 years. But here I stayed about 13 years. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of more satisfaction in doing this work in this area because somehow I have to me, yeah, from my experience, yeah, I don't know about others, it give us it gives me the satisfaction, yeah, yeah, because it helps people, yeah, in many ways, yeah, in many ways. If you know about the economy, if you know the value of money, yeah, then you will understand why. Mm.
Well, this is hugely inspiring, and I think the sort of takeaway message is that it's competition with a human face. It's not just about technical rules and
Mm.
laws, but it's also ultimately about helping people, as you said. And
Yeah.
I think that's what seems to be your motivation, and certainly I think it has been a huge part of your achievement here.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I think this brings us to the close of our podcast. But what a fascinating conversation it's been. I have learned a lot from you, and I'm sure our audience will as well. So thank you very much again, Iskandar, if I may refer to you by your name. Thank you very much for your time and your generosity. It is deeply appreciated. Thank you very
Mm.
much.
Thank you so much, doctor. Yeah.